All right, you want to get started?
I started recording.
All right,
We're gonna
you
do the
want to just do
countdown.
countdown since you're recording guy?
Chris, Chris in place of Chris.
Yeah, you're the alternate Chris.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, welcome back to the Power Play Hour, everybody. I am alternate Chris, reporting in from a different universe. I'm still Chris because you can see the Carlson jersey in the background, but I'm a different Chris. Wayne Quizky's dead. He's long dead.
Yeah,
This is the new and improved
Chris.
character that I haven't named Chris. And
It's
with
Chris
me,
with a C and a K.
yeah, Chris with the CK Chris,
CK Chris.
the CK
And it's with
CKH.
two S's at the end. Chris. CKRISS.
Yep,
Chris.
yep. And joining
All
me
right,
is
anyway.
Adam, just with
So,
one A.
So you will, yeah. Wait a minute. How does that? Okay, anyway, try to figure that out. So
I've
you'll
got to
notice
figure
that
it
our
out.
other Chris is MIA. We are in the middle of giant storm season in the northeast of the United States, and he's currently without power and rebooting his computer. So we're getting this recorded because somebody has to go to work tomorrow. So here we are. We're getting started. He'll probably join in really quickly afterwards. So we're just going to go through some news stuff. We got a lot of news coming back after the actual NHL break. Everyone's getting back in the full swing of things. A lot of contracts, All-Star Game stuff coming up, PWHL stuff we're going to talk about probably. I'd be shocked if we didn't. It's a lot of fun. And so without further ado, here we go. What do you want to talk about first?
The first thing on my mind was obviously William Nylander's contract.
Yes, the big one. If I am not mistaken, it's 92 million over 8 years, average of 11.5 per.
Yeah, but apparently it's also really built upon incentives.
Yeah, a very incentive heavy deal. I don't hate the deal for the Leafs with just Nylander. I don't like that they're paying so many people that much money. Because I saw a stat earlier that next season, once this Nylander contract goes into effect and all their contracts go into effect, their big four of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander will make up $46.65 total million just in those four players.
Yeah,
To
I
put it
forget.
in perspective, that is just under 50% of what next year's projected salary cap is.
Yeah, I forget where I posted it, which social media
Or
it
just
was.
over.
But at the same time, you're gonna have that. It's going to be that group of four and Morgan Riley, and the band of the Mark Donkeyest hockey players you've ever known, and players that are on recovering from a slump year. Like that's
Yeah,
that's
like
what
if
Toronto's
you
gonna be for the next what 3-ish years.
yeah, like if you look at how their contracts are structured individually, I don't think we would necessarily say no to any of them when you look at them as a single player. Like Austin
Right.
Matthews at 13.25. Yeah, he's the best goal scorer in this league right now,
Yeah.
barring last year having an injured hand for it, and on a bad year having 40 plus goals. He's the top goal scorer. Uh Tavares making 11 million. Okay, the last deal of that next year, but he's still playing at a high level. You have Mitch Marner, who Toronto fans are still not sold on this year for some reason. He's having an off year, but he's playing injured right now too. A lot of people speculate, and he's going to be over 10 as well. And he's still at over a point per game clip right now.
Yeah.
And Toronto fans are complaining about him. And now you have Nylander, who you could have signed over the offseason for 9, and he's proceeded to throw his name into some Hart Trophy nominations, depending on how the season goes for Toronto. And hey, look, you spent an extra 2.5 on a guy that you didn't want to spend 9 on over the summer.
Willie did fantastic by himself by having the performance he's had.
Yes.
Because you're
He's
absolutely
screwed
right.
over the Maple Leafs so goddamn bad.
He should have signed for a 7-figure AAV before this year started. He's the only one that wouldn't benefit from that, but that's what he should have signed to. But because Toronto got rid of their GM merely on a whim, and threw their organization to chaos. Now you're not overpaying for him.
You're not overpaying for any
If he keeps
individual
this
player,
performance
but
going, then he
yeah,
is worth $11.5 million. But right, out of context, they're all fine deals. But when they're all on the same team and they're eating up almost 50% of your cap, four players, which make up what, less
I
than
actually
a
did the math
fifth.
wrong. It's over half the cap because we're not at 90 million cap yet.
Right, right.
It's
So
over half the cap for 4 players.
yeah, for four players, for less than 20% of your hockey team, is eating up almost 50% of your salary cap. Like that's not sustainable. That's why I mean that's why you're having goalie problems right now, and you have to rely on
Yeah.
Martin Jones and other AHL call ups.
The Hildebeest, Dennis Hildeby,
Yeah,
who's supposed to be really good, but it's too early in his development to throw him in the games because Ilya Samsonov has been
hot garbage.
relegated, almost to be relegated to the ECHL at this point, if it was possible in his contract bylaws.
Ilya
Um,
Samsonov is the dumpster fire of the
yeah,
NHL right now.
ever since they got rid of Freddie Anderson, every goalie to suit up in a Leafs jersey has just seen their career vanish.
He cursed it on the way out.
But I don't know. Put it in perspective, you look at any other team's core group of players, whether it be Pittsburgh, the biggest contract out of any one of that core is Erik Karlsson right now, and they didn't even sign that contract. Crosby is at what, 8.7 on.
He's at 8.7.
Yeah.
Malkin and Letang are over 6, but I think it's like 6.1, 6.5.
And even saying their contracts aren't fair because all of them signed them relatively long ago in the cap standards. Look at teams with their core locked up who are younger. Even Colorado, the highest paid player on Colorado is Nathan MacKinnon at 12.5.
Look at New Jersey. Isn't New Jersey's highest paid player like 8.8?
Something like that. Yeah. Like, I'm just using Colorado because I know the numbers off the top of my head. Nathan MacKinnon's paid 12.5. I believe Mikko Rantanen's at 9.5. Cale Makar's at 9.5.
The point being that they're only paying one
Dave
player
Landeskog's
8 figures.
Healthy, he's at 8. So if you do the simple math there, like, Colorado's easily got to get 6 players at that upper echelon threshold of salary cap before Toronto ever can. And that's not including other depth pieces. Like, that's only the core 4. Morgan Riley has a good price tag. Tyler Bertuzzi has a decent price tag. Samsonov had a decent price tag at 3.5 on that 1-year deal. Granted, it's just this 1 year, but Toronto is full sending on this core, and they're going to hope for some cap relief in the next couple years and some team-friendly deals from expiring contracts like Tavares.
Yeah, so like
look, he's joined us. Let's see how long it takes to get his camera on. But that's about it on the Nylander contract. We're both kind of like, the contract's okay. I just don't like all of them together.
Yeah, I kind of want to look at New York Rangers. Okay, best team in the Met right now. Highest contract is Artemi Panarin at 11.6. Next highest is Zibanejad at 8.5. Next is Chris Kreider at 6.5. Next is Vinny Trocheck at 5.625.
How much is Adam Fox paid?
I'm sorry, he's 9.5. I was just looking at cap friendly. They have the wingers
Fox
first.
Was up there. Yeah, you were talking about forwards.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
Jacob Trouba because they're paying 4 of their forwards that's not even including their highest paid defenseman.
Yeah, Jacob Trouba's at 8. So there, your core 4 would be Panarin, Zibanejad, Fox, and Trouba.
Probably Trouba.
If you really want to extend it, you could extend it to 5 and include Kreider because he is important in that. But again, and those are the main producers too. So
yeah,
I can look at Boston too. That's going to be interesting.
I see.
Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hello, my power's back on. I
can't wait for
the battery.
Yeah,
back into my computer. Hey, fucker.
Get the candles lit.
We only got to talk about the Nylander contract, but
I did want to offer one piece of information on that. All you people bitching and complaining that it's bad for Toronto, you are dead wrong. I don't know what was your guys' claim to? Was it
both of our views were the similar face that we both are okay with the contract, but don't like the core 4's contracts added together.
Yeah, we don't like it in context with the other ones.
Yeah, because I brought up the point of what I mentioned earlier to you when we were just talking outside of the show of the 4 4's contracts being worth over 50% of the team's salary cap next season.
You know what? It's not
4
great.
players.
You have maybe the best goal scorer of the past 20 years, and that's counting Ovechkin. You've got. I'm not a big Mitch Marner fan anymore, but you do have Mitch Marner there. You've got a steady defenseman in Morgan Riley. You got JT, who you're probably going to unload, and you've got William Nylander now, who I think, other than Matthews, is the best of the bunch. So.
Yeah, and I saw on the Steve Dangle podcast, their opinion on it is that the contract is basically probably playing Mitch Marner out of Toronto.
I hope so. For Leafs fans, I hope so, because it's what's got to happen at this point in time.
Yeah. But let's move on from contract. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Let me just open up this next.
Hang on. Some interesting theories. How would you feel about swapping Gensel and Marner?
In what world would we be able to trade Jake Gensel for Mitch Marner?
The world where William Nylander makes $11.5 million.
Okay, what assets do we have to offer for Mitch Marner, though? Jake Gensel, he does not get that done. He does not get that done.
You don't think so?
No, Brad Treliving is not good at signing contracts, but he is good at trading them. If I'm Brad Treliving, I'm not.
Gensel's contract hit.
Gensel's contract hit? He's looking at for 9, roughly.
Yeah, his is going to go up for sure.
That's a cap dump.
Yeah, that's $2.5 million. That's enough to get you a
round pick.
Yeah, that's enough to get you another backup goalie for Martin Jones.
Yeah.
It's an interesting proposition.
Jake Gensel for Mitch Marner straight up. All right, maybe not, but Mitch
Marner, no, not straight up. You gotta get a little more creative.
Second.
Oh yeah, you gotta get a little more creative, but it is. I think there's a starting block. There's a foundation there.
I think if you're gonna
hear me out, because this is the biggest Toronto trade I think I will ever hear in my life. All right, hear me out. Hypothetical: Jake Gensel, Ryan Graves, and let's just who else do we want to throw in there? Matt Nieto. Jake Gensel, Ryan Graves, Matt Nieto for Mitch Marner and a second.
Okay, so that's $16 million going to Toronto.
Change it to Hinostroza.
Sure.
And they retain the contract of Ryan Graves.
Listen, it don't matter because Jake Gensel's not going there. You know where Jake Gensel is going? Right next to Connor Bedard. That is my money on the table bet that he's going to Chicago.
I don't think Jake leaves until after Sid retires. If he does leave at all.
What do you get for Jake Gensel from Chicago in that
Evan Korchinski? If I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm not. They've made deals before, and I'm going, hey, you have this really good young defenseman that you don't necessarily need right now, even though he's like your future guy. This upcoming draft is stocked full of defensemen. It's one of the best D drafts you've seen in a while. I go to them and say, you know what? I want Kevin Korchinski to be the main piece of this trade, and maybe you get a small pick in return, but I doubt it. I think Kevin Korchinski for Jake Gensel makes a lot of sense. If we're selling. I don't know if we're selling, but if we're selling.
Yeah.
I saw a very interesting take from Steve Dangle's podcast, The Hot Take-a-Palooza. I love plugging it because I love their podcast. Their hot take, I think it was Adam Wilde, said that Kyle Dubas is intentionally throwing the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes. And he's trying to make it look like he tried his best and that he's going to make Fenway Sports Group let him do what he wants to do and actually rebuild the team.
Like most people named Adam, he's wrong, but go ahead.
Hey, listen, it's fine. But, I mean, hey, maybe it'll just work out. I don't know.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
What was the next bit of news that you wanted to talk about, Chris?
Ladies and gentlemen, America is better than Canada. Chris, cue the American Eagle. America beats... Who was it? Who do we play? Sweden. America played Sweden.
It wasn't even Canada.
USA! USA! USA!
We didn't even have to play Canada.
That's how you know you're better.
Well, listen, we might have been the winners, but Canada couldn't even make the dance. They were on the sidelines. Because Big Brother always beats Little Brother. Yes, America wins gold. Glory be to our wonderful, wonderful hockey team. And shout out to all the players who made my dreams come true of seeing Canadians cry one more time. Also, from that same bit of news, so the biggest news of the week is, and I didn't even have this on my docket because it happened last night, Cutter Gauthier, the star of the World Juniors for Team USA this year, gets traded from Philadelphia all the way over to Anaheim. And coming back is Jamie Drysdale, who is one pick less than him 2 years earlier. So, what do you guys think of it, Chris? What do you think of the trade, first of all?
Well, considering I couldn't think of that many remarkable D-men last night, I think Drysdale is going to be a big improvement for Philly and what they want to do. And like I said last night, that to me indicates that Philly's taking themselves very seriously. We've talked about earlier in the year, we had talked about, this is just a flash in the pan for Philly. They did this last year. They started hot and then they fell off. They haven't quite fallen off. They've still been able to stay competitive in a very tight metro race.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. I don't think that Philly's going to necessarily be buyers at the deadline. They're going to stick to their plan because I don't think that they're there yet. I think they're overachieving their expectations.
They're playing with house money.
Yeah, they're really playing with house money. If they make the playoffs, man, that's phenomenal for them. That would be almost akin to when New York said to their fan base, "Hey, we're going through a rebuild," and then 2 years later, like made it to the third round or second round or some shit like that. Yep. Yeah, like that. That's,
we got a prime goalie. Let's go.
This is what this Philly team is showing me this year, to be honest with you. We're playing with house money. Whatever happens at the end of the season, if it's more than a regular season, that's fantastic. They're ahead of schedule on the rebuild. I like what Briere's doing. But anyway, with the trade itself, I like Jamie Drysdale for Philly. I have yet to see a move from Danny Briere that I haven't liked. And I know you're going to talk about the shade that the player threw Philly's way, so I'm going to leave it up to you.
Well, but okay, before he gets even started on that, again, this is a player that didn't want to play for you, and you're able to get an actual player, not a throwaway asset, out of it.
Very true.
Compare this to a player that couldn't play for you with what the Pittsburgh Penguins just did with Rem Pitlick and a 2026 seventh rounder conditional. Yeah.
I forgot the trade happened. No, thank you for reminding me, by the way.
We'll get to that after this one, because it'll be very quick.
Yeah, so, I'm the prospect guy here, so I'll kind of go a little more in depth. First of all, Cutter Gauthier, I will admit, when I saw him get drafted, I wasn't super high on him because he didn't have the best draft year. The pollutions, the components were all there for him to be a top-end player, but he's one of those, like, unicorns where he's big, strong, and also can rip the puck, and he's a center, technically, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so it's Cutter Gauthier to Anaheim for a second and Jamie Drysdale. From both perspectives, it's a fair trade. I mean, you're getting arguably one of the best blue chip prospects at D in the game. A right shot also goes along with that. And a second round pick. Nice bit of work, though, by Briere to get that second round pick. And just from Philly's perspective, it is a good deal. I mean, if I was ranking it, I'd give it an A. You were in a difficult position, but Briere's obviously curried some good favor because he even thanked the other GMs he was talking to for not leaking this because they could have blown this whole thing up. But definitely some good work by him as a GM in general. But to go out and get your man, you go get your potential number one rear guard now. Good for you. For Anaheim, their forward pool just keeps getting deeper. With uncertainty around Trevor Zegras, now maybe that bolsters him to stay. You've got a 1-2 punch of him and Leo Carlsson for the foreseeable future, and then Zegras on the wing possibly with, you've got Troy Terry, you've got a couple guys coming up through the system there. So really exciting times for them on forward. And again, I give them an A. I think this is one of those trades where I would say Anaheim wins, but it's not like the needle's here. Like, it's not one way or the other super skewed. It's just they won a difficult situation that made them an easy winner. Yeah. But I think it's all going to come out in the wash. I think Drysdale's going to be a top-end defenseman for a long time. I'm not as high on him as some other people are. I know a lot of people think he's going to be a Norris caliber guy. I think he's got a Noah Hannafin build to him. I really do. I like his skating. He's a real slick skater. But he doesn't have a good shot. Like, just plain and simple, is not a good shooter. And he's a minus 46 in his career on a bad Ducks team, but you'd like to see his defensive metrics improve a bit. Whereas, again, I said he's a unicorn. You've got Cutter Gauthier coming across here, who's just phenomenal. May play center if he can grow those intangibles, but otherwise you're getting a dynamic winger out of this too. Who wants to touch upon the drama, or do you want me to take that away?
Oh, you got to take the drama.
Sure. Yeah. So the whole thing is now, there's a lot of he said, she said. So I see a lot of people taking Philly's side on this, and I think that's fair. It was, it was good of them to kind of keep this away, and they sort of painted themselves as the hero here. But I also don't like the villain arc they're going for now. Like, oh yeah, I mean, if you don't want to be a flyer, you're not going to be a flyer. John Turtle is like, well, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. Buddy, that's kind of the point, right? If he doesn't want to be here, he's not going to be there. It doesn't matter what you want. Like, you don't get that pick. It started back, apparently, last year after juniors. The whole thing was Philly did not want to sign Gauthier right away. We're not talking about promoting to the NHL, which is I think what's getting lost in a lot of this is people are misconstruing him as wanting to sign versus him actually wanting to be an immediate lock. He didn't say he wanted to be a lock. He wanted to be signed so he can get his development going. They pushed him to college to defer his contract rights because otherwise he would have become a year one or a year one burned off his contract at age 19. That's a huge boon for a young NHL player coming out of college. They pushed him. They didn't want to sign him, so he was done. He wanted to start his career. He wanted to be a professional. He didn't want to go back to college. He got pushed back to college, and that was it. He saw that as, you know what, they're exploiting my contract rights like every GM does. They're not valuing me to come up, and they clearly don't think that I can help them in the immediate future, so I'm not going to. That is his right. And you know what? I'm tired of people bashing him for it. I'm the same thing. Philly's within their rights to do that. But when you play with fire, I'm getting a little bit tired of the whole, well, if he would have just told us, we would have fixed it. No, you made your choice. It's like the baseball GMs, right? When they want to sit here and push guys down to the minor leagues for 2 or 3 extra years, don't be surprised when they walk in free agency. So that's my take on the drama, but too long didn't read version. The Flyers didn't sign Cutter Gauthier and push him out of college, and instead he decides, I'm not playing here, a.k.a. the reverse Lindros.
Very true. You summed it up. I'm not going to add anything in. It's going to be repetitive.
Yeah, I have nothing to add on top of that. Very nice. Very nice. 10 out of 10.
And I mean, you know, it was Cutter Gauthier for Jamie Drysdale, so you could say this is pretty cut and dry trade.
Speaking of cut and dry
Right,
trades,
so
so the
PWHL
2026
I just want to say I didn't make that up. I stole that from somebody on X.
theories on the Rem Pitlick trade to Chicago, because I don't think it's an actual trade. I don't think that trade stays.
Is Rem Pitlick a real person? Discuss.
He's a real person. He was on my slideshow. He was part of my PPP line that I wanted for the 4th line. That is so quickly falling apart, except for one piece. But no, I think it is Chicago is desperately in need of people that play hockey for a living. And they just they reached out. They were like, "Hey, here's an NHL player that you haven't used all season and has just been sitting in the minors. Do you mind loading him to us? And when our players are healthy, we'll send him back to you." Yeah, sure. What do you like? There has to be something in this. We can't actually trade a bag of pucks. How about a 2026 7th round pick that's conditional? That's as good as a bag of pucks.
That very much is.
What is the condition on that pick anyway?
I couldn't
that
find
he's
it.
a real person. I think it's that he actually exists. That he shows up in Chicago and has a suitcase and he has a body.
I couldn't find the condition for it.
That Rem Pitlick is not an AI generated name from NHL 24. That's the condition.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah, the condition is that Dubas wasn't sitting there on the phone with NHL 24, just like, create me a player.
Did you just say Rem Pitlick? Is that a person who you have on your team, Kyle? Yes, Kyle, it is.
I think he meant to say the most legendary NHL creative player ever, Lance Christensen.
Oh, rest in peace, NHL 14, yes.
Yeah.
Or Behind the Glass of Pierre Maguire Franchise League. Yes, long live.
Goodness.
Long live. And let it be known, NHL 14, I discovered future Arizona Coyotes goalie Karel Vizmelka in that draft, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he was in that game.
He was indeed. He was an elite potential goalie. Hey, Hoozle.
He still might be.
Goodness.
Sure.
Goalies are late bloomers.
You know, that is true.
All right, anyway, moving on, some PWHL news, because, yeah, that's
Raise
fun.
your hand if your PWHL team is undefeated and has the first hat trick. Are you Minnesota?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
We talked about this last time. They're purple. They got the first overall pick, and they're doing well. So, Adam, by the time we fly out in March, I'm going to have a Minnesota jersey to wear.
I am as well.
In the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport.
Who are you getting? What player are you getting?
I don't know. That's the only thing I don't know yet.
Got to go with Taylor Heisey. Got to go with our first pick. Also, Adam, since you told me, Adam, who was the first player to get a hat trick at the PWHL?
Oh, it was Grace, and her last name is very unique. Yeah.
Out.
That's a very unique name. I've never heard anything very close to that before.
And it's going to be a very good piece of trivia.
That is the highest attended women's hockey game of all time already. 13,000 fans in XL Energy Center in Minnesota.
That's what, 4 times what the Coyotes can hold?
Hey, You leave more. Listen,
Doing
I'll
the
say
math,
this,
it's about 3.
and I'll say this too.
Not
I
much
always
better.
thought, I will say, like, Olympic hockey, women's especially, is great too for USA and stuff. But with when you had the other leagues like the Canadian Women's Hockey League, CWHL, stuff like that, it was interesting, but it wasn't. Sorry, my picture screen is still up.
It just almost does to his computer.
When I watched those, they weren't as interesting because the broadcasts weren't great. They didn't have any energy. It was just hockey. The PWHL games are really good. Like, they're really, really good hockey games. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. They have good commentators. They have good play-by-play. They have really good, coverage in general. I absolutely love that all the games are available free to stream on YouTube. It's fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
NHL, take note.
0. I urge you, if you just like hockey in general, go to YouTube when there's a PWHL game on there. All their games start at 7. They are 100% free on YouTube. You have 0 investment except your time. Just watch a game.
And also, NHL, take note. I'm not asking the NHL to stream every game for free, but like, if you make it a lot easier than it currently is, people will pay you.
The only thing that I have going for me being an Avalanche fan is that none of my games, except the one time they play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh and the one time they play Philadelphia in Philadelphia, and maybe when there's a nationally broadcast game, I never have a blackout on ESPN.
What's that like?
Because I never have a blackout. I never have a blackout because I'm an out-of-market team fan. I should not have to be an out-of-market team fan to watch all of their games. There is no reason why I can watch every single Vancouver Canucks game as long as they're not nationally broadcasted. There is no reason why.
You're preaching to we've had this discussion, this diatribe so many times it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and ESPN can do it.
I visited a cousin.
They can do it.
I visited a cousin and her husband that live in Banksville, and the fact that he told me that, we just don't get to watch Penguins games. They're not locally broadcast. What?
Yeah,
also,
even the
you live in
NHL
Pittsburgh.
where they had everything with ESPN Plus. You can at least listen to the games.
Yeah. That's
also, shout out to the Hershey Bears for 70,000 more bears thrown on the ice, whatever it was. Another
74,599.
One of the best things running. Good for them.
I really need to go to a teddy bear toss game sometime.
I know the guy that ran the band who did the national anthem that night.
Nice.
Yeah. Weird random note.
Was it somebody that I also know, Adam?
He is a brother of yours. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fraternity brother.
Right.
But anyway.
Speaking of
not
fraternity,
mine though. If that gives you a hint, it's not also one of mine.
Yeah. No, that's what I was figuring.
Yeah.
This was to be one of our quicker shows, so we're gonna wrap up there for this week. But I do have some trivia.
Is there anything else that we got to? NHL All-Star stuff is starting to get announced.
Wait. What was this losing with Chris segment you wanted to cover? What was it?
It wasn't a segment.
I just
want to point
touched
out
on it. But let's just talk about
the
Penguins are winless when I attend a game. So congratulations,
so
Colorado. You have a free win coming up on March 24th.
You can set your watch to it. You can guarantee it's going to be a loss.
I'm putting money down on it.
Colorado. Chris and I are flying out to the Lance one, not the white shirt one, the black shirt one.
It's Jeff Carter.
Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter is going to get traded to Chicago as a cap dump. Watch it happen. But anyway, flying out to Denver, going to see an Avs game. Pittsburgh and Colorado. So hyped.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do we have time for the doku, you think?
We probably do. Yeah.
Okay. So,
do you want to do today?
Yeah, it's good if we save All-Star stuff because they're just doing the
today is Chris doku, Mr. Lance.
Today's Chris doku. Okay.
So you're gonna need to grab a piece of paper. I'm gonna do the same thing. Right back.
I'm gonna use my phone.
I've been quietly solving. Wait. Oh, I still have my DS here.
He did give me a hint on what some of the categories were, Chris, by the way, but I did not look anything up. I can promise you that. It's a pretty interesting board, I'll tell you that much. Picto chat.
So today's doku for Chris Doku has a very specific theme. because of college hockey and everything in the news lately with
I'm not going to follow through with this because the light's blinking red and I don't want to lose my progress in any given moment.
That's very fair. Don't you have the same phone as me? Don't we both have
I have an S21 Ultra and I have a
don't
case.
You have the pen? I have the S22 Ultra.
So the 21, they skipped a pen entirely.
Oh.
I was so mad because I
that's
loved...
right, because the 20, I had the 20, the Plus used to be with the one with the pen, and now all the Ultras have the pens because they went away with the Plus.
Yeah, they got rid of the Note. I had a Note 9 and I loved it. And then the 21s came out and I was like, oh, I love the improved camera too. But so I asked them, they were like, are they going to make a 21 Note? And they were like, no, they're doing away with the Note series entirely. So I'm like, oh, no more pen. Okay. And then I get an S21 Ultra. The very next year, they're just like, oh, yeah, if you get the Ultra one, it comes with a pen. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So, yeah, I have a case with a pen in it
I think my next phone is going to be the Z Flip or the Z Fold.
Okay. Are we ready for the Doku? All right. So, everybody... So, I will specify, this week you cannot research anything. There will be no research time. I have mitigated some categories. Adam knows what the categories are ahead of time, but they're very general. So, top row, starting with the top left. Played college hockey for Michigan.
Okay, so this is going left to right.
Left to right. So your top left, your very first board piece is Michigan.
You just said common knowledge.
Your middle top is going to be a skater, defenseman or forward. And then your far right, your far right player is going to be an Edmonton player. Adam knows what this board's team is, but let's see if Chris can get it. So Michigan, a skater, and Edmonton. Your next left. So now it's your down pieces.
Yep.
Wrote or featured prominently in a book. So it was going to be originally that they wrote a book, but it's wrote a book or featured prominently in a book. It could be a biography, an autobiography, a book, a tell-all, things like that. Your next category was teammates with Zach Hyman, and if that doesn't give away the category, I don't know what will. If you are listening at home, by the way, it's Zach Hyman board themed. And lastly, your last category is where is a jersey number less than 20? So one more time, it's going to be Michigan, skater, and Edmonton, and then on your corner pieces, it's going to be book, Zach Hyman teammate, and less than 20 for their jersey number. And that all makes sense because Zach Hyman typically wears number 18, I believe. He wrote a book for a children's book, played for Michigan, is a skater, and also is a player for the Oilers. So I will set a timer now for 3 minutes. We'll do 3 minutes to start it off here. No research will be allowed. Everybody ready?
Question.
Answer.
Really quick. With the one category, Edmonton and jersey number less than 20.
Yes.
I don't remember if he wore this jersey number in Edmonton, but he has worn a jersey number less than 20 on other teams. So
they don't have to. I won't be that specific like Puck Doku is.
Cool, we're good. That's all I need.
And go.
Was today's board the Alex Galchenyuk board?
Probably.
Let's do our board. So, Chris, who did you have for Michigan and wrote a book?
All right, Michigan wrote a book. I used Zach
in a book.
Or is in a book, yeah. Cross it out because I couldn't think of already. So Zach Hyman's out. Adam, go ahead. Who did you have?
I got Eddie Kahn.
Okay, sure. Skater in a book.
Trotz.
Okay.
Who'd you get?
Oh, I'm next. Stu Grimson.
All right. Mark Messier.
Cool.
I have his book downstairs. Still haven't read it.
And Edmonton in a book.
I just figured Gretzky probably wrote one at one point.
He's in one, yeah, for sure. A feature. I had Paul Coffey.
I have Edmonton legend Ben Scribbins.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was Adam's shout today. Michigan and a Zach Hyman teammate.
Dylan Larkin.
Dylan Larkin, cross it out.
He played for a cup of coffee in Arizona, and I mean like maybe less than 20 games. Chris Brown.
Okay. Skater and a Zach Hyman teammate, Chris.
McDavid.
Jason Spezza.
Darnell Nurse.
That's a good one. Edmonton and a Zach Hyman teammate.
Draisaitl.
Darnell Nurse.
Mike Smith.
Michigan and wore less than number 20.
Adam Fantilli.
Cross it off. I put it as well.
Zach Werenski.
So I'm losing for sure because
yes,
I think I win as long as I don't.
I think Adam's winning.
Gator less than 20, Chris.
Chad Ruedel.
Pascal Dupuis.
John Michael Lyles.
And Edmonton, less than 20.
Tyson Berry.
Oscar Clefbaum.
Cross off Tyson Berry.
Yeah, I think
Two-way
Adam,
tie. Adam and I go to the final
Oh,
I
yeah,
battle.
that's
lost. I lost 2. Did you only lose 2?
I lost 2. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lost Hyman
Yeah,
and
I
Larkin.
lost 4, so that tracks.
Chris, give us a winner-take-all trivia question.
Winner take all. Oh, all right, that was very on the spot.
Raise your hand to buzz in, Adam.
I'm clearing off my phone screen.
Okay, here we go. Going off of the Puck Doku today. Give me somebody who played in Toronto that had a 100-plus goal scored career. The closer you can get to 100.
Okay, so we can both answer.
the winner.
Adam, you go first.
Oh, the closest you get to 100?
Yeah.
That played for Toronto.
Without going under. So it has to be 100 or more, but the closer you get to 100,
Oh,
the
100
better.
or more.
Has to have played for
again?
Toronto, too.
I'm not going to answer yet. I need to think about it.
Oh, you raised your hand first, sir.
No, before he said the stipulations of not going over, because I was going to play a player I think is close, but I want to think of somebody else first, and if I can't think of somebody else, I'll use them.
Not going under
All right.
100.
Yeah.
I have a pick, but I'm not going to go because you raised your hand first, so.
That's all I got to say. Just screaming into
I
the
think we
void.
need your answer, sir.
No, I'm thinking, and now I can't think because I'm trying.
Who was your original pick?
My original pick was going to be John Michael Lyles, but I don't think he hit 100 goals. So I don't want to say him.
Okay.
Because he played for Toronto, and I think he's close to 100 goals, but something's telling me he's not. So I'm not going to say him.
Okay, well, we need an answer.
Yeah, you can say your answer first.
I'll go Walt Podubny.
I was gonna say Walt Podubny until he's like starting saying stipulations. I'm like, uh-oh.
Let's
You know
check
his stat
Walt
line
Podubny
already,
quick.
don't you?
By heart.
Okay.
I'm gonna send a shot through the dark, and I'm gonna hope that he did it. John Michael Lyles will stay my final answer.
Okay. So Walt Podubny had 184, and Michael Lyles had 87.
Oh, yes.
I'll do
Damn.
one redemption one for Adam. So because I thought of it looking at my Google search history. What is the tiebreak order for NFL playoffs? Or sorry, NFL positioning.
For NFL positioning,
Yeah.
isn't it division record?
I actually have to pull it back up. I was hoping to get to like the 4th level. Search history.
No idea. So I guess we're ending in a tie if Adam got this right because I have no idea.
I think it goes division record first, and then it goes like points for or something.
I want to say it's head to head, but I don't know.
No, I don't think it's head to head because at best you play them twice.
What's the answer, Chris?
So the first level's head to head.
Uh-huh.
Then it goes.
Eat it.
Then it goes best one-loss tie percentage in games played within the division. Then it goes to.
Okay, so then it goes division record, like I said. Okay, so
yeah.
we're
Then
not
it goes
wrong.
to best common games record.
Oh man.
Then it goes to best record within conference.
And then division.
No. Division
No,
second.
the division was number 2.
Oh, there's number 2.
And then number 5 is strength of victory in all games.
That's a fake. That's not real.
Right, and
Oh,
so I
so
ask
that's
you,
the point-
what the
that's
hell
the
is
point
strength of
differential
victory?
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
point
just point
differential.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then coming down here, best net points in common games, best net points in all games.
Yeah,
That's after a couple more like strength of schedule.
because it goes point differential and then your offensive metrics.
Yeah.
Wait, what
That's
do you
so
what do you
stupid.
consider
The
the
NFL
strength
is
of
so
schedule?
dumb.
All right. That's the end of our show. We're gonna tie it up there with a nice bow.
No, I'm calling the NFL out because like I was sitting there on Sunday afternoon after the Steelers won trying to figure out who they were going to play in the first round. All these different scenarios. My
I can't
family
wait
was
for my
looking at me.
team to get absolutely smacked by Dallas. I think that's who Tampa Bay plays. It doesn't matter. It was either going to be Dallas or the Eagles, and we're fucked either way.
All right. That's our show.
Heyo!
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week with some more news as we get closer to the trade deadline. Until then, make sure you eat your vitamins and drink your cereal with milk.
As they
Au
say in
revoir.
Buffalo, go Steelers.
Buffalo.